Hi, everyone. My name is Jerry Wise, and I'm a life and relationship coach. And I wanted to share some important things with you today in this video entitled 15 Assertive Rights as an Adult. And this is part one. I'm going to do the first 5 of the assertive rights. Then I will do 2 other videos to include the other 10 assertive rights as adults. I hope that you'll subscribe, like, comment, and join and support this channel so that I can do more free videos for you. I'd like to review the assertiveness rights for adults. They have been a big help to me in understanding what is normal for adults. Many of us growing up in dysfunctional families, many of us growing up in our family of origin, we may not have learned a good deal of the normal assertiveness rights that we have as adults, also as recovering adults. And I want to send a special shout out of thank you to the book When I Say No, I Feel Guilty by Manuel Smith. And I've made a hybrid of rights that he has and rights that I have added, trying to integrate a family systems approach. And again, this video is number 1, and it is the first 5 rights. Many of us have grown up with many non-assertive rights of codependency and the non-assertive rights of dysfunctional families. For example, some of those non-assertive rights would be always make others happy, never make anyone feel hurt, sad, anxious, or mad. Kind of always control the negative feelings of other people. And your assertiveness, if it causes them discomfort, then don't do that. Never say no unless you have a very, very good reason to say no. Another rule, always define yourself the way others see you. If it makes you feel anxious, then you're probably doing the wrong thing. That's also a non-assertive right. You should never change your mind. It only interferes with the relationships running smoothly. And you will look weak or immature, so never change your mind. Another one is don't do anything you can't justify. Also, everyone has a right to know your reasons and excuses for what you want and for your decisions. An additional one is saying, I don't know, only shows your inadequacy and your lack of knowledge. And it will end up hurting people in the long run. Another one is, if others define me, then I should accept it or argue with them to change their minds. Those are some of the non-assertive rights or dysfunctional rules that we've oftentimes lived by. There are many, many more. Let me talk about the first assertiveness right. You have the right to judge your own behavior, your own thoughts and emotions, and to take responsibility for their initiation and the consequences. Let me read that again to you. You have the right to judge your own behavior, your own thoughts, your own emotions, and to take responsibility for their initiation and consequences. I have the right not to be manipulated by other people who are judging my behavior, my thoughts, and my emotions, because I am the judge of these, not they are the judge of these. Others are not the judge of me. I am the judge. My conscience is the boss, and my values and choices and needs are mine. My conscience is the boss, and my values control my behavior, thoughts, and feelings. You have the right to be the ultimate judge of yourself, continuing on with assertiveness right 1, because this is a part of that. You have the right to be the ultimate judge of yourself versus I should be controlled and others should control me. I should control others, others should control me. We often are so shoulded and so oughted, you should and you ought, and judged by roles, rules, and what has always been. And I think that's why that's so often the basis of the judgment. Roles, rules, and what has always been. And then in many cases of narcissism and such, in that you're not doing what someone else finds best for them. Being our own judge can be a very frightening thing. And I remember when I was in seminary and thinking, gosh, what if I'm in charge of what I believe? What if I'm in charge of my own thoughts and feelings? Should I have my own thoughts and feelings? Because there's probably so many other ways that other people are right, other books are right, everybody's right but me. No, I have the right to judge my own thoughts, feelings, and actions. Our behavior, thoughts, and feelings are not responsible for someone else's happiness or someone else's feelings. If I don't want to go on that trip and many feel disappointed, I'm not responsible for their disappointment. I'm responsible for my choice. I may not wish to go. And I can judge whether that is an appropriate action or an inappropriate action, a selfish action or a non-selfish action. But if I don't want to go on that trip, I have a right to make that. If everybody in the world feels hurt by that, that's not my responsibility. And it is not healthy or moral to put the responsibility of your own happiness on someone else. If someone else, of course, doesn't want to go on the trip, you're responsible for your disappointment and your hurt or anger. That's your responsibility. It's not theirs. That's assertiveness right 1. Assertiveness right 2. You have the right to offer no reasons or excuses to justify your behavior or choices. Let me say that again. You have the right to offer no reasons or excuses to justify your behavior or choices. I remember, and in working with so many couples, helping couples have a better relationship and healing and successful relationships over my many 45 years or so working with couples, individuals. And of course, there are some who have chosen to divorce, or a spouse has chosen to divorce, and the other one doesn't wish to divorce. Well, I can't make the one spouse stay in the marriage. It's for each person to decide whether they want to stay in the marriage. Certainly, I like to see couples work through their issues in the marriage and become stronger and happier, but sometimes that just does not happen, and there have been so many things that occurred that it makes it virtually impossible. And often we get a lot of whys from others, especially when we make a choice about something in our own life. And divorce is a big choice. It's a very big choice, and it's a hard choice. And I found that hard for so many people who have made that choice. It's not easy. And of course, I don't believe divorce solves all the problems either. I think and I educate and talk to both parties about the importance of just because you get a divorce doesn't mean that wipes the slate clean. There are lots of issues that brought us into this, that continued the conflict and continued the problems, and we need to work on those things, divorce or no divorce. We will often get a lot of whys, and I wanted to share with you, why do people ask whys? Why do they ask you why? They are often a means of resistance. They want to use our reasons and our excuses and our answers to change our mind. And I remember a number of couples I've worked with, and let's say it could go either way, the man or the wife, but let's say the man doesn't want the divorce and the wife does. And she's wanted a divorce for the last 15 years. She's been unhappy. Her husband has not been always a kind or caring or loving husband, and she wants to exit the marriage. And she's thought about this for a very long time. And so she's asking me, well, how do I share that with him? And I said, well, I think briefly and succinctly is probably the best. I feel like I want to tell him all the reasons. And I'm going, you're certainly free to tell him all the reasons if you want to, but you don't have to. You're making a choice to exit the marriage. You don't have to give all your reasons. And in fact, this may not even be the best time to give your reasons. Why is that? Because the husband will say, well, why do you want to divorce me? I've been working on myself. He's been working on himself for 15 years, hasn't really changed. Or he'll change for a short time and then go back to his old behavior. And the wife doesn't want to do that anymore. And so, again, I might advise, probably it's best to not give your reasons at this point. He needs to figure out why the marriage failed. You need to figure out why the marriage failed. That may not be best sorted out with the two of you because we have a dog in the race. Especially if I don't want a divorce, then I want to hear all your reasons why. Why? Because it might benefit me, because I may be able to use those to try and change your mind. Not to accept the reasons, but to use them to hopefully change your behavior, choices, and your mind about this. And so I want those why answers for my benefit, not for yours. Mom and Dad, here's an example of Mom and Dad, our family would like to spend Christmas Day at home. We'd be very happy to see you and the rest of the family any other day. I know this is a change from the past. Again, I'm acknowledging that this is a difference. I know this is a change from the past, but Bob and I have decided this is our preference for our family on Christmas Day. Mom and Dad, of course, are going to ask what? Why? But why are you choosing to do this? Do you truly have to give the reasons why? The reason is that we prefer that and to do this for the holiday. It is our preference. I don't have to give all the reasons of we want to start our own family traditions. We want to wake up in the morning and be with our kids and our family on Christmas morning. We want to spend that time enjoying ourselves, relaxing, and having our own traditions on Christmas Day rather than just grandparents' traditions. Not that family's not important or being with family, but that I don't have to give the reasons for that, because many times that will be a reason for the family to try to talk you out of that when you've already come to this decision. We don't have to give our reasons or excuses to justify our behavior or our choices. I remember even with my own brother, who I think used to sell cars. He sold cars for many years, and he sold American-made cars, which was interesting because I wanted to buy a foreign car, and he could not understand why I'd want to buy a foreign car. Later in life, he bought most all foreign cars, and I bought American cars, so cars made in America. So it all got reversed later, which was interesting. But he was not happy with that, and he wanted to know why. Well, every why I gave him was a cause or a reason for argument. And the reason was because this is what I want to do. This is my preference. I prefer it. And I don't have to give you all the reasons why. Especially if you're not truly trying to understand my reasons for me, you're trying to understand my reasons for you and for your benefit. If someone wants to truly know my reasons for me, then I can share them my reasons. But we're not in an adversarial relationship. 3, assertive right number 3. You have the right to judge whether you are responsible for finding solutions to other people's problems. Is that your responsibility or is it not? Let me give you an example where this took place. This was many years ago. I had a car accident, and clearly it was the other person's fault. The police were there. The woman happened to run through a stoplight that was clearly stopped for her. She didn't see it. I don't think she even looked up, and T-boned me in the driver's side. Her insurance company contacted me, which is fine. And I said, I will need a rental. And so would you like to arrange that to have a special deal, or you want me to just go get a rental and that'll just be part of the settlement? They told me, well, her policy does not include a rental replacement. That would not be covered. And I said, I responded, it doesn't matter to me whether it is covered or not. You can pay for it, or she can pay for it. It doesn't matter to me. Because if you don't pay for it, then I will ask her to pay for it. If she doesn't pay for it, I guess I will have to sue. Because I was the wrong party, I should be made right. But sir, she doesn't have car rental policy, a codicil on her policy. Well, again, this is not my problem. If it is not your problem, then it will be her problem. I'm sorry. This is your arrangement with her, not with me. The accident was her fault, and I lost the use of my vehicle. Again, it was not my responsibility to find a solution for this woman's responsibility. Believe it or not, the company ended up paying for the rental and taking care of that because they didn't want to see me sue her when she had insurance, I'm sure. Now, things may be different now, I don't know, but back then, that was what I was getting. They, of course, didn't want to pay for a rental if they could avoid that. But I don't care what your policy is if you hit me. And it's your fault. I don't care what your policy is. That's between you and them. I don't have to be responsible for finding solution to other people's problems. I think another way of thinking about it is, a dad comes to you and says, could you make your mom happier? She's not happy right now. And then we just fight about it. So I want you to go and make up with your mother. Well, now, wait a minute. That's between mom and I don't. Whose responsibility for the relationship am I taking over here? If I go and kowtow to mom, let's say, or give in or make nice or whatever, I'm doing that to make dad and mom's relationship work. That's not my responsibility. It's not my responsibility to go fix your marriage or how you guys interact. Dad, that's your problem. My problem is between mom and I. Not my problem is not how your marriage works. That's between you and her. So we want to be careful for finding solutions to other people's problems. It's enough to find solutions for our own problems. Number 4, you have the right to change your mind. That's a normal life, recovery, healthy adult right. We have a right to change our mind. Obviously, many believe if you change your mind, then something's wrong with you. And of course, you'll need to justify your new choice, right? No. You don't even have to justify your new choice. Now, that doesn't mean I don't care about people. I might share with people, hey, I've decided I can't go to that ball game with you. And you bought the tickets. So I'll take responsibility for the ticket price, but I cannot go. And I'll be happy to be fair in doing that. But maybe I want to stay home just to watch TV all afternoon. I don't have to give all my reasons for that, especially if I'm going to make them whole. Now, if I bought the ticket, well, then they're not out anything other than my presence, which I don't have to justify. You are free to change your mind for 6 good reasons, or for no reasons, or for 3 bad reasons. You can change your mind. That's an adult right. Number 5, assertive right number 5. You have the right to make mistakes and be responsible for them. This is the myth. Mistakes should be viewed through the lens of adequacy and self-worth and how others should view us or judge us. No, that's not true. I get to judge my behavior, my mistakes, and my life. And you can judge me any way you want, but I have the right to judge that. And I don't believe mistakes are best judged through adequacy and self-worth lens. I have made many mistakes in my life. And I've made many poor choices in my life and made amends for them, paid for them, suffered for them. I remember one back in 1980, I filed bankruptcy due to my business immaturity and my loss of a business. Well, should you be a pastor if you file bankruptcy? Are you a bad person because you filed bankruptcy? Am I now and forever less than other people because that happened? Am I now a failure for life? No, because I get to judge my own mistakes. I get to take responsibility for my own mistakes, and I have a right to make mistakes. No, I have failed, or I have chosen unwisely about business, which resulted in financial default, which hurt others and some businesses. But it does not speak to who I am as a person. I tried to make all of them as whole as I could. But it doesn't speak to me as to who I am as a person. It speaks as to the mistakes I can make and did make. I hope you'll subscribe, join, like, and comment on this video. I want to thank you all for joining me today. Have a great day, and look out for the next 2 videos that will be assertiveness rights 6 through 10, and then 11 through 15 in the next 2 videos. Have a great day, and be wise.